and welcome to CSL Leesburg. Wherever you are, I hope you are warm and comfortable. Our theme for this year is Living Everyday Wonder, and it's also our theme for the month of January. The title of our talk today is Wonder, Wonder Everywhere. Isn't that a wonderful title? And our talk today will be given by our spiritual director, Charlene Banks. We are so glad that you joined us today. Like I said, make yourself comfortable as we officially begin our service. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world.
Good luck.
Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. As always, please feel free to add to the chat or the comments section any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like us to include later when we do our spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. And now it's time to move into our time of meditation. Before we begin, just take a moment to get comfortable and to relax your body, clear your mind, stretch out your legs or sink into your chair as you need to. Just get comfortable and take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. And let your body relax into this moment. Now we're going to start at the top of your head, allowing your mind to take a body scan. Work your way from the top of your head and slowly, slowly travel down to your toes. How are you feeling right now? Is there a place where you feel heavy? Is there a place where you feel restlessness or disease? If you find a place that needs your love and attention, stop for a moment and bless it. Remind yourself that everything in your body is constantly working to support you. Your cells, your muscles, your internal organs, your bones, your senses. Everything is always working without you telling it to, without you reminding it. You are a miracle. You are wonder. You are a wonderful creation. And you have all that you need right there inside of you. As you do this with your body, recognize that you are taking a few moments to appreciate your physical presence and your strength, and that this will bless those around you as well as you. When you feel healthy and strong and at peace, you raise your vibrational level. This benefits you and everyone who comes into your presence. This is a gift that you are giving to yourself and to others. Take a moment to appreciate the wonder of your body, the gift of life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to shift away from our body, from the internal, and we're going to focus on the external. Ask yourself, who or what do you appreciate most in your life? Notice how your mind starts to swirl. Images and thoughts rush in to provide answers. Perhaps a loving family member or friend comes to mind. Perhaps you're thinking of a beautiful sunny day in your favorite place. Perhaps you're thinking of a beloved pet. Perhaps you're thinking about the warmth of a great cup of coffee in your hand as you breathe in its scent. Don't search for one answer. Let the thoughts just come to you. Let your mind wander. Who or what do you appreciate most in your life? Perhaps as you are letting your mind wander, you go to a time when you felt a great challenge, but you recognize that you came out on the other side stronger and more confident. Perhaps you can recall a wonderful memory of a particular event. Again, just let the thoughts swirl in and out of your mind like a parade of appreciation for all the good moments in your life. And as you enjoy this moment, recognize that you are taking time to appreciate and recognize all the blessings in your life. This moment of gratitude will bless you and those around you. When you feel happy, blessed, and grateful, you raise your vibrational level. This is a gift that you give to yourself and to others. Take a moment just to appreciate all those thoughts that swirled around in your mind, all those things that bring you gratitude, that make you love life. Say thank you.
to all those wonderful blessings in your life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. When you are ready, slowly bring your awareness back to this present moment. Let your mind return to this space, to the room where you're in, to the chair where you are seated. And when you are ready, join us, knowing that this place of gratitude and awareness of wonder and peace is always waiting for you and available to you. Now, we're going to have some music by Leah.
Are you listening to the falling leaves? Are you listening to the calling trees? Are you listening? What do you hear? Are you listening to the water dry? Are you listening to the lizards fly? Are you listening? What do you hear? What do you hear? I hear days come and going. I hear babies growing. I hear clouds as they silently float by. I hear time as it's slowing, and one thing I know is I hear life. I hear life. Are you listening to the new day song, or a voice that tells you that everything is wrong? Are you listening? What do you hear? Are you listening to the love within, to the well where every good thing begins? Are you listening? What do you hear? What do you hear? I hear ideas sprouting, a child within me shouting, here's a new thing. You ought to give it a try. I hear vision becoming. I know that nothing is wanted. I hear life. I hear life. I hear life. I hear life. So amazing. I am listening. That's awesome. And Tamara, what a wonderful meditation. I was right there every step of the way, and I love being connected back to gratitude for every single moment. That was just so on point. So good to have you as a practitioner and as a friend. So listen, guys, Everyday Wonder. I love this whole title for the year. Everyday wonder, because it's an oxymoron. You know what that is, right? It's a phrase where the words in the phrase conflict with themselves, with each other. Because if it's every day, you stopped wondering. And if it's wonder, then it's something that's not every day. So I love this whole year. We're going to be bringing wonder into every single day of our lives as if it's an everyday thing. So it's really awesome. In fact, usually, like we associate events that are big events with wonder, don't we? The birth of a newborn baby. That is an amazing thing. If you've, we've all been babies, obviously, but if you've ever seen one be born, whew, you can't see that every day unless you're an obstetrician, but I don't want to go down that road. Now, what do you associate with wonder besides a newborn baby? It could even be just a fresh loaf of baked bread coming out of the oven, or a sunset. Yes, a sunset or a sunrise, something that sort of catches your attention, brings you out of the mundane and into the current moment with awe. So I think that we can all agree that that's what we're talking about, wonder. And then think about the word mundane. Now, the types of things we think are mundane. This is the washing the dishes, doing the laundry, hanging up the laundry, anything that has to do with laundry. I think we're all clear. Feels like mundanity. The Buddhists call it chop wood, carry water. That's the mundane. Chop wood, carry water. Something you have to do every day. Something that could become meh. But the beauty of the Buddhist tradition and all of the spiritual traditions are that we reach enlightenment through our methods that we teach. And then what happens to your everyday life? What happens? Well, you chop wood and you carry water. So from the outside looking in, your life hasn't changed much. But from the inside looking out, everything is different. The way you chop that wood, completely different. Now I've never chopped wood, so I'm going to pretend I have, but I'm thinking, I'm taking an axe and I'm wielding it. And while I'm doing that, I'm probably on autopilot. Just doing the motions, just doing them. Before enlightenment, doing the motions. Where's my mind? Anywhere but here. Because I'm chopping and I'm chopping and I'm chopping. Look at the bird. Now I'm chopping wood, so I don't want to be too distracted, because I am handling heavy machinery that could cut off something. So I'm going to be kind of paying attention. But for the most part, I'm chopping and I'm chopping. You may have experienced this driving home from work. Now we know that this is a mundane activity, that you could go on autopilot while you are handling heavy machinery. I do not recommend it, but we do it every day. You're driving and you're driving and you're driving. And where's your mind? Anywhere but right here. Do I recommend it? Not really, but here we are. How many times have you ended up in your driveway like, oh, crap, I don't even remember how I got here. Thank God I did, but good Lord, right? That's what we're talking about before enlightenment. But after enlightenment, every moment is sacred. Now I'm going back to the wood chopper. And again, I've not done it. So I'm imagining that as I lift that, I'm feeling the flex of my muscles. I'm feeling the involvement of both my tris, my bis, and my traps, all of the upper arm. And as I swing, I feel the momentum of the axe as it comes into the wood. And I might even thank the wood for its service to my warmth that is coming when I put this wood in the fire. And that I'm so present with every movement that it becomes meditative and it becomes deepening. And I'm so in the moment that I'm not anywhere else but right here. And so every energy, every attentive moment that I spend is one that makes me bigger and me more connected with my surroundings. Now, again, to the outside, there she is chopping that wood again. But inside, every moment is different. Every moment is new. And if I'm driving and I could go on autopilot in my mind, I choose to stay present. I choose to bless every single vehicle that is around me. I look next to me in traffic and I see the little girl who sticks out her tongue, and so I do too, and it's funny. And I look around, I just bless everyone on my journey. May they be blessed on their way. May they be a blessing in the lives of those they come into contact with. And it changes everything. It just looks like, Charlene's going to work again. Charlene's driving home, but it's so different from that. And so what we're talking about is our presence. Where is our presence? Are we here? Are we paying attention? Are we involved in this moment? And if so, life has moments of wonder and awe that would have escaped our attention if we were kind of somewhere else. And can I mention the somewhere else? It's usually not a good place to be. Whenever I'm on so-called autopilot, doing something and thinking about something else, chances are I'm not thinking about how amazing life is and how good I have it. No, I'm typically going, oh, Lord, you didn't write the paper yet. You could at least done the outline. What's wrong with you? There you go again. There's usually something like that trying to nag at me. And so the benefit of practicing this moment by moment mindfulness and awe inspiring attention to the present moment is I get to tell the nagging part of me to shut up. It has no place here because it's not real. And it was created by what we talked about a couple weeks ago, just all my conditioning that says the shoulds, should be better, should have done this, should have had that, could have. It'll have me doom scrolling through Instagram or whatever is the topic of the day. And I'm comparing and comparing. That's that me that's not the real me. And the less time I give it, the better off I am. Is it always bad to plan and be in the future or be in the past? No. I need that part of me when it's time to do my calendar and when it's time to do things that are executive functions for my daily life. But then I get to put that away and be present, not worrying about the breath 5 minutes ago or the future breath that I might take, simply breathing right now, right here, right now, and being in the moment. So one of my favorite ministers, and I've never met this person, he's online and he sends out a lot of quotes to all the other ministers every Sunday. It's kind of cool that he exists. But one of the quotes that he sends, this is a story from his own personal life. And so this Reverend Scott Aubrey put this story in for this week's set of quotes, and I just love it. He says, a few years ago, he and his friend, so it's first person, he goes, I climbed and hiked up one of Colorado's 14er mountains. Long's Peak is the name of this one. It was a grand adventure for me. The trail took my companion and me through a variety of terrain and landscapes. Along the way, we walked above the tree line, then climbed over a large boulder field and through a rock formation called the Keyhole. After hours of hiking, we finally made the summit, and I will never forget the moment we came to the new expansive view, seeing so many tall peaks. They stretched on as far as we could see. I was absolutely in awe. I had been so occupied with the trail. And now get this, I'd been so occupied with the trail and the mountain before me that I had not yet taken in the majesty of the entire range. It felt like I was seeing the Rocky Mountains for the first time, peak after peak, rising up in indescribable beauty and might. My friend and I could hardly speak. The sense of being on just one mountain disappeared. We were part of something even bigger, and I felt that the same power that formed those mountains was flowing through me. In that moment, to find the source of all life, all I had to do was place my hand over my heart. The experience was a revelation, being shown life as it really is and feeling waves of consciousness welling up from within. It was an awakening. I love that story. Can't you just imagine as Scott and his friend climbed up? Now, if you've ever climbed up anything steep or even slightly steep, you're always looking at the very next place you're going to put your foot or your hand and checking for stability and going for the next thing. And the furthest up you look is whatever is within maybe 10, 15 feet of manageability. If it's a planned trail, that's all you really have to worry about. And you really do worry about that. You're looking down and you're grabbing and you're holding on. Isn't that our lives? Don't we do this through life? We look down, probably at our phones, but we look down, and maybe it's at our navel, and we gaze longingly at our navel. And then we just try to get through the next thing that's hard, making sure that the path that probably laid out for us already, just let me get through today, possibly tomorrow. I don't want to think to next week. Please help me. And you're moving and you're moving. And that's fine, because that's day to day. And in that moment, in those moments, as he was climbing up the mountain, I imagine that he was taking moments and being in awe of the part of the mountain that he was climbing, because this is a reverend and he's really insightful. And I'm sure he was grateful for every rock and every shrub or whatever's native to that land as he climbed that one mountain. And I'm sure as he went through the trail and went through the twists and turns, he was probably in anticipation for what's next. But as they went through that keyhole, I'm sure they had no idea what was waiting for them. And sometimes for us, that keyhole is that meditative moment of aha, that enlightenment moment that the Buddhists speak of, where we go so deep within and we are in awe of the pieces of us that are connected with the divine. But then something happens and we go, oh my God, we're one with all there is. We're one with all there is. And then you see that those other people out there that are in their cars on their commute, or they're standing in line with you when you're checking out at the store. These are the other peaks that are part of the mountain range. And yes, you are very intimately familiar with the majesty that is within you. But then you look up and you realize, oh, I'm part of something so much bigger. This is amazing. Look at this all around me. I don't even see the separateness. I don't even feel like I'm on one mountain range, which is me, but then you're on yours. We're all one huge mountain range, and each one is majestic and powerful, and oh my, and the beauty has to be humbling. I know I've had those moments of inspired, I melted into the everything that was. And it's, I don't know, kind of like if you could put that in a bottle and sell it, sheesh. Unfortunately, we can't. There's no shortcut to that feeling of enlightened connection to all that is. We get glimpses of it, and every subsequent meditation is chasing that. I hate to say it, but it's true. And it's just so awesome to be a part of that, and to know that that's who you are, and to respect that in everyone else. And it just becomes, you never meet a stranger after that. If you get a sense of that, a glimpse of that, no one's ever a stranger. In fact, Valerie Carr, K-A-U-R, Carr, has a book called See No Stranger. And she says, wonder is the wellspring of love. When we orient ourselves to wonder, then it becomes possible to wonder not only about ourselves and our world, but about other people and theirs as well. We begin to sense that they are as vast and complex as we are. When we choose to wonder about people we don't know, we begin to expand our circle of those who see as part of us, of those we see as part of us that we don't yet know. Now, I love this. You're not a stranger. You're just a part of me that I don't yet know. Doesn't that change everything? It draws us closer and increases empathy and compassion. Wonder is where love begins. So she says this about love. Love is more than just a feeling. Love is a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving. A choice we make over and over again. If love is sweet labor, love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. This labor engages all of our emotions. Joy is the gift of love. Grief is the price of love. Anger protects that which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love. Wonder. Wonder, it just gives me the tingles. I don't know about you, but I'm like, oh, yes. And so the oneness about us, like, so we're looking at others, and instead of simplifying that or reducing the people we see to just other, which sets them apart and allows us to see them as less complex than we are, then instead of that, we look at them and with wonder, we open to curiosity about their lives, and it actually embraces the differences. And when we wonder about people and we ask questions out of curiosity and interest, number one, people feel seen. If you're interested in them, they feel seen. And when it's genuine, nothing feels better than to have someone listen to your story if it feels genuine. Somebody who's not doing it just to find out how to get to you. Some salespeople will, so tell me about yourself. And you know that whatever you tell them, they're going to use to sell you something. I'm not talking about that kind of listening. I'm talking about the interested, so I never thought of it that way. Tell me more. And then when they tell you more, you say, oh, what did you mean by that? Wait, I don't understand that term. Oh, is that what that means? Now that doesn't require you to then be converted to their way of thinking. Being interested doesn't mean that you're now going to get consumed. It's okay to open up and listen and include others into our world and not just surface. I heard a quote, and it's coming to me because it's just curious about how when it went like this, something like when you're late to something, it's because of traffic. But when your colleague is late, it's because they're lazy. It's right. It's that kind of thinking. You know how sometimes we give ourselves a little extra compassion, then we give someone else. That's what we're talking about. Let's extend that benefit of the doubt, that forgiving mentality to other people. Another example might be you're driving in your car and somebody cuts you off and now you're mad, but then you realize, oh, that's your mom's best friend. Now you're not mad at her. It's weird, right? Complete strangers, they could get your wrath, but family members or loved ones, they probably didn't mean it. So all I'm asking is, can we expand those with which we feel compassion? Or can we just expand the people who we give the benefit of the doubt? Can we look at each person as a whole ecosystem of ups and downs and goods and bads, and they are divinely connected, even if they're not behaving that way in that moment? Give them a little forgiveness. So the wonder that we have reveals that we are interconnected, that we do have consciousness that runs as a thread through all of us. Now, I wanted to ask you about this, or I kind of want to give you a thought to think about. In our meditation practice, if it's true that similar to Scott Aubrey's climb to the peak and his ability to see the range of mountains, if that's analogous to our inner journey, is the part where we're climbing up the individual mountain, and then once we get to the peak, we're looking out and we see that we're connected with all that is. If that is analogous, what is it the same thing if we first feel connected to all that is and then go into meditation? So think about this for a minute. If you feel connected to all that is, I'll be right back.
doing the mundane of doing the dishes.
This is being connected to all that is.
Being connected, yes. Chop wood, carry water, do the dishes.
We are connected to all that is.
Chopping wood. Yes.
Chopping wood,
People are
water.
chopping wood, carrying water, and doing the dishes really loudly. Just saying.
It all works. It all works.
So I wanted to say, if you first start out without, and then you go within, I personally feel like that could be a bit backwards. Here, let me tell you why. When I first started this teaching, I was going to Agape in Southern California. It was a wonderful place to be. I was taking classes for the first time. I also happened to be surprisingly pregnant. I didn't know what I was going to do with anything. I had no plans. But and Agape is one of those places where you feel part of the oneness immediately. And now I look back and I'm like, I'm not sure that worked in my favor, because when I went into meditation, I brought everybody else's ideas into meditation, and I didn't really get to know me for a while. And I'm sure that that's not everybody's experience. So when I thought about Scott Aubrey's path up the mountain, how everything was looking down, looking within, noticing all that, and then he arrived at the peak, and then he saw that he was one with everything. And he felt so blessed, and he felt part of it. His self was dissolved for a moment, but you always come back to yourself, even if it's fleeting, you come back. I feel like for me, I got a glimpse of all that was. And then I went into meditation, and I wasn't sure what was going on, and I had to have a lot more intentional practice of doing that. And I talked with Reverend Michael, and he was saying, Reverend Michael is the guy that runs Agape and the genius at the top of the center there. And he likened what I was talking about to when people do mushrooms or some sort of, they get to that oneness early through the use of any sort of pharmaceuticals. Then a lot of times what you do is, since you got there before you were ready to get there, a lot of times it's harder to then retread up the mountain, take that in and do your own work individually, and then get to the mountaintop. So I don't know if that makes sense. I'll try to say it again. I feel like, if I had to do it again, I'm sure I did everything just right. I would not change a thing, but I did notice that for me, having that enlightenment experience, that aha moment, then going into meditation made me question more whether I just feel like I brought everybody else into my meditations, as opposed to what I had to learn how to do was just forget everybody else. Right now, it's me and my connection to the divine, period. Not, but what about, and then that what does it look like, and from here and from there, and what about from, am I this kind of mountain, that kind of mountain? Do I jut or do I? It was a lot. Instead, I needed to just know that I and the divine were one, and every experience I had, that I would notate it. I'd ask questions, do visioning, get the vision for me, write that down, ask more questions, clarify that, and go on my journey without bringing in, but what about, is it supposed to feel like this? Back to, and so to me, I just want to tell you that if you're on your journey and you're doing a lot of but what about, and is this right? That could be natural, it could be fine, but I feel like it's much more specific to us individually to get connected to the divine within ourselves. Just listen and write. Just listen and write. Keep listening and writing. And let's not worry about how that looks on the higher scale, bigger scale. How does it fit? What about the others? Let's not worry about that for a while. And sometimes you'll get that glimpse, I am one with everything. And it'll be the natural time for you to get there. So again, I think that just came up. It had to be said for some reason before the dishes got me. And hopefully that that's a good takeaway for someone, because really we want to marvel at the beauty. Marvel at the beauty that life is. It's happening within us right now, in this moment, right this second. It's happening with every in breath and every out breath. Something amazing is going on. And we just need to catch a glimpse of it. Something to take us out of that mundane, that daydreaming, not really present energy. Something will grab our attention and we'll look at it and we'll realize, oh my God, look at that flower. It is so pretty. Or just any object, pick up an object around you and just marvel. How did it get here? What hands made it? And just each, like if I look, this is just an example. If I look at this and I'm just like, what, with wonder and awe, I can imagine each and every intentional placement of each of these beads on this spiral springy thing that someone, my mother, lovingly took and placed one after another. How did it get here? Creation, imagination, God as creativity, and then the materials came, whether it's from China or outside in the earth itself. And then the process of stringing. You could go in a good 10 minutes just contemplating this item. And then when you think about how does it go on the arm, as you put it on, thinking about how the hand interacts. Okay, people are going to look at you and think you're high, but it doesn't matter, okay? You're just getting into every little movement. What is the hand? How? And then just looking and feeling and becoming one. Every single moment in our lives can be wonder-filled just like that. We do not have to wait until that future date on the calendar where we get to go somewhere, although that's wonderful too. But we don't have to wait until then. We can do it now, in every moment, appreciating everything life has to offer, even if it's dishes clanging in the sink, dogs chomping on a bone. It's all part of God. It's all marvelous and wonderful. And I am grateful for it. I'll leave you with a quote from Uncle Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of Science of Mind. And in his, all right, where is he? Oh, I think I have a picture of it. Hold on. Yes, I shall share because I will end up sharing anyway. So he says to us, when a person stands in awe of grandeur, something deep within him responds. Something within him embraces the ocean. Something within him melts into the mountain, and he becomes one with them. So we take this idea of oneness and melting away into the greater yet to be, into the divine, into all that is. And I just say, thank you, God, for just letting me be present to this very moment and knowing that there is no other moment except now that is happening right here and right now. There's only one divine life force, and that's making itself known throughout each and every one of us. It's awakening in each and every one of us. It is finding itself, expressing as our hands, our eyes, our voice, our heartbeat. This divine is moving, living, having its being as each and every one of us, as the organization known as CSL Leesburg, as this larger organization known as Centers for Spiritual Living. It is also making itself known as the Buddhists, as the Jesuits, as the Muslims, as the Jewish traditions, as the Hindu traditions. It is making itself known in the way that humanity can understand it, multiplied over and over in whatever way. And so whether our tradition is the path that our parents brought us up on, or whether our tradition is a combination of the Yoruba, the Egyptian, and no matter where we came from in our spirituality, we are here right now sharing this moment with one another, knowing that each of those golden threads that runs throughout humanity, well, they're all connected to the divine. There are many ways to the divine. All paths lead to God. And so we bless ourselves. I bless each and every one of us here on our path, knowing we are taking the divine way within. No matter how it looks, we are on the right path. We listen for our guided principles to show up in our lives. We ask for spiritual discernment to move forward in the direction that Spirit tells us, and we know that we're doing all right. And so I speak my word that every person here who has any sense of dis-ease, disharmony, disconnection, or anything unlike the core qualities of the divine, which are wholeness, peace, love, joy, beauty, abundance, power, anything unlike these true qualities of God are simply false ideas that are washed away when we realize the truth about our oneness. We don't fight and we don't struggle and we don't try to kick out the feeling of disconnection. We simply embrace the unity that is God. And all things unlike it fall away. And so it is knowing this truth for each and every one of us, knowing that we are unfolding on this divine path. I know that it is all well, it is all good. And I simply give thanks, deep gratitude for being able to witness such divine movement and activity in our community and in the world. And I simply let it go, knowing that it's already done. And so I simply say, thank you, God. Thank you, life. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. And Leah has something for us. A nice song. Here we are.
By the still water, I go to meet my guide. Truth restores my soul, I never walk alone. Where I face shadow, my heart will know no fear. Nothing can compare to peace that fills my soul. Love is all I need. My heart is filled with love. My cup is running over, over and over. From the moment that I rise to the time I lay me down, may I set my heart on sharing love. In the cool meadow, God greets me with a song. And in every voice I know I hear my own. Rare, sweet silence, I keep you here in me. And with every step, I never walk alone. Love is all I need. My heart is filled with love. My cup is running over, over and over. From the moment that I rise to the time I lay me down, may I set my heart on sharing My heart is filled with love. My cup is running over, over and over. From the moment that I rise to the day I lay me down, I will set my heart on sharing love. I will set my heart on sharing love. I have set my heart on sharing love.
It is so wonderful. Thank you so much, Charlene. Your message today reminded me of a favorite quote. In the end, it's not going to matter how many breaths you take, but how many moments took your breath away. And now it's time to bless the donations that are shared with our center today. At CSL Leesburg, we practice and believe in the law of circulation. So we're a tithing community. The donations that are shared with our center bless everyone, those of you who give and those who will receive. Take a look at the screen. You can see so many ways that you can make a donation. And it's easy to find a way that works for you. And you can also always go to our website and just click on that little donate button. We thank you so much for your support. Your support is how this all happens. No matter how you're giving, please just take that gift, either physically or mentally, and place it over your heart and join me in saying our blessing of our gifts. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. All right, let's take a look at our announcements. So many things are happening here at CSL Leesburg. So on Tuesdays, come back and spend a little more time with Charlene and her friends as they explore their dreams during their dream study. And that will be on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. And if you have some things that you'd like to share on Wednesday, please join us. We call it Diving Deeper, and we meet at 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights. So what do we mean by diving deeper? We continue the conversation. You'll hear me talk about the pearls. What did you gather from our talk today, or from the music, from the message that just resonates with you, that stays with you? And then we meet midweek. How are we taking the message from today, the insight that we got from today, and putting it into practice during the week? And I say this every time, and it holds up. I always gain something. I learn something new. I love the discussion. I love meeting with my CSL family midweek and just checking in. So consider joining us on Wednesday nights. Also, and that's holy cow, here we are. We are at the end of our sacred time together. So just once again, place your hands over your hearts. You know what I'm going to say. Let me hear you turn on your mics and join me and say, I am love.
I am love.
Do you see the smile on my face when you do that? Now look at somebody who's in the room with you. Maybe you have to look down at a little pet who's near you, or maybe you're just looking on the screen. Point at someone or something and say, you are love.
You
are love. And now put your hands up in the air for our love sprinkles. And just a wonderful reminder, it's all
love.
All love. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Continue to experience the wonder everywhere. If you can, stay and join us as we share our pearls. And if you can't stay today, just stay warm, stay safe, and have a blessed day. Thank you.